We now take you live
to the Central Texas Command Center
in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to the Alex Jones Show.
Coming up, we're going to get into the economy. I'm also going to break down the choice everyone has to make about the direction of our society. And I want to get into one of the biggest secrets of the New World Order coming up at the bottom of the hour. We'll also get into North Korea wants to hear that Kim Jong-il's youngest son will take over. So North Korea is waiting to hear that Kim Jong-il's youngest son will take over. What a wonderful communist system where daddy gives it to Kim Jong-il, and then now his little snot-nosed dictator son in waiting can be the new power. Meanwhile, Venezuela election loosens Chavez's grip on power. Opposition makes big gains in Congress as both sides claim victory and momentum for the 2012 presidential election. So we'll be talking about that. Also health and climate and energy. It's all coming up. And I want to get into why I think it's so important that the FDA is setting the precedent to not let you know if GMO food, GMO ingredients, genetically modified organisms, are in your food. Dealing with this salmon situation. It's not even salmon, it's a cross-species clone chimera. So that's coming up. But let's continue with your calls right now. Joe in North Carolina, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Alex.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of take a few steps back. I'll tell you a little story that happened a little over 9 years ago. I used to work at a fairly good-sized ISP here in North Carolina. We had an OC-192 line, which is a really high-speed backbone network. And I was in contact with a bunch of engineers all over the country, and there used to be two places that were really important infrastructure-wise. One was in Washington, D.C., and the other one was out in California, and they're called May East and May West. Well, the company that I was working with, their engineers accidentally tapped into some what they called dark fiber, which is basically fiber that isn't being used. And anyhow, the contractor hooked up some test equipment and let it go off. And they went for a little lunch break. Next thing they know, some guys pull up in black SUVs, and all of them dressed like the Smiths out of the Matrix, fall in there with MP5 machine guns. And they quickly found out that dark fiber wasn't so dark. It was actually being routed over towards the Pentagon.
No, all major ISPs, which then all miners wire through, under federal law, Telecommunications Act 1996, and they already had it set up before then, but under law, there is always a second set of pipes at main junctures where everything is run through it. And so that's basically what they were tapping into.
Yeah, they were. What it was is there's a several redundant loops now around Washington where there used to not be. There were several really highly important places. But anyhow, they quickly found out that the government was on a whole bunch of stuff where they didn't think was lit up, and there's a whole lot more stuff out there that people don't know about.
What did they say to the engineer that had tapped into it?
They grilled him for about 2 hours to find out what the world was going on. They had everybody called out in the country, and the country basically alerted to it. So they really grilled the guys, and they found out no, they weren't any type of forward agents or anything like that, and that they were contracted through a company to provide the network services engineering. So anyhow, they took all their equipment offline real quick and kind of snapped things back into place. They, of course, had a couple IT guys with them, and they kind of straightened everything out, and they told them to pretty much leave the premises. So, like I said, it's been going on. They've been snooping for quite a bit.
What do you think of the Stuxnet worm and the media basically admitting that Israel did it, but then now they're saying they're going to use the attack that one of the Western governments launched as a pretext to come in with the cybersecurity takeover?
Mm-hmm. That would definitely be a plausible way of taking hold of the network, yeah. There's there's a couple of pieces of literature, and if I can find them, I'll send them to you. It's nothing really classified, but it'll kind of broaden the horizons on what's going on. But
well, that's what they've put in the last 15 years, internet too, between government universities, and now they're tying it into the main web, and that's really another big snooping hub as well. I appreciate your call. Interesting intel, Joe. Let's talk to Shannon in Mississippi. Shannon, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Good.
Alex, I just wanted to get on the subject about the biological warfare that we're entering into about that salmon fish stuff. And it was interesting. About a week ago, I was listening to the little nightly news here, and they come on TV, you know, about the salmon and how good it is for you and how you should eat more of it. And they even went down to cutting the fish up and showing you how good the meat is. And this globalist guy was on there telling you, just eat more, it's good for you, this genetic fish that they've come out with. And I've tried to explain to everybody how they're coming out and trying to depopulize and just, I mean, we need three major things to live. We need air to breathe, we need food to eat, and we need water to drink. And the fluoride in the water, the food that they're getting at, I mean, it's unbelievable.
And they come out and talk to us like we're children. Oh, we've crossed this salmon with multiple insects, and we've crossed fish with corn. And, in all the major studies, you know, when you eat the GMO corn or soybean, it increases cancer and organ failure and causes sterility. You know, that's all admitted, but it's good for you. And sodium fluoride's good for you. And mercury in the shots is good for your children, CBS News says nationally. And, you know, don't listen to the kooks. It's good to have a salmon that grows twice as fast and is twice the size. And so what if major universities did studies and found that within 40 generations or 40 years, this one GMO salmon will extinct regular salmon? You know, it's no big deal to have a part insect fish you eat. Come on. Come on, Shannon. The government cares about you. And it's even better. The government's saying they're not going to let it be labeled so you can make a choice, because they found that when the milk was labeled that it was genetically modified growth hormone, that you wouldn't drink it. So that's not on shelves anymore that you can find it, except for poor grocery stores where folks don't know any better. So we're just not going to let you know. Not only is it good for you, Shannon, but you're a child. We're not going to let you know. Doesn't that sound like freedom, Shannon?
Oh, yes. It's big-time freedom. And you know, Alex, I try to talk to people and tell them, and they say, oh, you're so stupid. And then they start talking to me like I'm a child.
Oh, well, because that's an attribute. They teach Americans you don't have any Bill of Rights or Constitution, you don't have any pension, you don't have any private property, but you get to laugh at people that care and are informed. It's kind of like the Mike Judge movie Idiocracy, where he is in suspended animation in the Army for 200 years. He wakes up, and if you can talk, they make fun of you. And he goes into court and starts, you know, declaring his rights, and they're making fun of him because he can talk. And that's pretty soon like, we got one here that can read. And, I mean, I've had cops say to me, what, you quoting that Constitution, Mr. Fancy Pants on me? I'm going to drink me some fluoride. I'm going to shoot my kids up with some mercury. I like it. And they have no idea. They think it's cute to be idiots, don't they?
Yes, sir, they do. And the harder I try, the more I try to talk to these people. I turn my back on them, Alex, and what I do, I go find somebody else that will listen, or if you don't listen to me, go research it, you know, yourself. But
let me explain this to you, Shannon, because I know you're a smart guy, and I want you to be able to telegraph this to them. Deep down, you know, the subconscious mind is conservatively over 100 times more powerful. Some studies show it may be thousands of times more powerful. Even the dumbest dumbest fluoride head, mercury drinker, knows that things are wrong. But at a subconscious level, George Orwell called it crime stop. It's a crime to not worship tyranny in Big Brother land, in Airstrip 1. And so they get scared by what you're saying, and they have such little respect for themselves, and they're so intellectually lazy that they don't want to hear about something that gets in the way of, you know, whatever petty thing they're thinking about, whether it's cheating on their wife or partying or running the clock at work or hating their boss, whatever it is, or how they want to get tickets to some ball game or how they want a new chrome grill on their F-150 pickup. But you are planting seeds in them. You are planting seeds, and because they don't respect themselves, because they see you as a peer, they don't respect you. So plant the seeds. The best thing is giving them a film, you know, a terror storm, an Endgame, an Obama deception, and say, tell me what you think of this video. You know, this is a video that's censored and suppressed, which is true, but then this is something, you know, they don't want you to see. And then if they think they're doing something naughty, they may go watch it. But don't feel bad. Keep it up. Go ahead.
And, Alex, one more thing I would like to say to all the listeners and everybody out there. Bush has said one thing that has come true. Obama has said nothing. Everything he says has been a lie. And I go with nothing that the globalists say or they're going for. But Bush said one thing, and I keep this in my head. And I want every listener, too, to listen to what I'm fixing to say. You're either with us or you're against us. And let me tell you something. I'm against them all the way.
Well, that puts thank you, sir. Thank you, Shannon. Well, that puts your soul, your intellect, your integrity on the side of right. I mean, nobody can deny we're going from liberty to tyranny and that it stinks to high heaven. We're going to be right back after this quick break. They've got a bunch of GMO salmon they're trying to approve. Some have insect genes and others. This particular one has eel genetics bred into it.